Hey everybody, it's me, Danny, and in this video I'm going to show you guys a step in the screen printing process called coating screens. And what I'm going to basically do is show you guys step by step on how I achieve this in my studio. Just to put a little bit in visual context, I'm going to show you guys what you're going to need is a screen, any size screen. And this screen right here, I'm using a 230 mesh. That's basically how many holes per square inch on this screen. Very small holes. So 230 mesh is for very detailed prints. I'm gonna be using this screen for very detailed print. It's gonna have some small letters and small fine lines. There's all type of mesh counts, so be aware when you choose them. There's all type of mesh counts. In this case, I'm using 230. In other cases, I use 160. 160 is for larger text or maybe like a bigger picture, a printed picture that doesn't really have that much detail in it. So yeah, get yourself a screen, first step. All right, second thing you're gonna need is a scoop coater. The scoop coater should be at least the same size of your screen. That way, when you put the scoop coater onto the screen with the liquid emulsion inside of the scoop coater, it'll perfectly fit, and you place it against the screen. It should line up to where it just leaves just a little bit of room on the edge. You will use the scoop coater filled with emulsion, and you will slide the scoop coater up. Bam. And you will flip it over to the back, and you will slide the scoop coater up. Hit in the back. I like to hit it at least twice on the front and at least twice on the back, just so I can get a nice coat on my screen, because I do reuse my screens a lot, so it's going to cost for me to constantly wash it out. So I want to make sure I have a fine layer on my screens. All right, so you got your scoop coater, you got your screen. All right, third, you're definitely going to need yourself some emulsion. In this case, I'm using the base layer long lasting emulsion. Emulsion is a photosensitive liquid that coats the screen to allow those holes in the screen to be completely filled. That way no ink will get through. So everybody's always wondering, like, how don't I get ink on everything? Like, the process is really confusing, but this is basically what's on the screen, closing down those holes. And I'll show you guys exactly how that works. So I have the emulsion and I have the Dazio. This is like a activator for the emulsion. I used an emulsion that was 2-in-1. You can find dual emulsion. I got that emulsion because I was starting off, and I didn't want to try to figure out the dual, and I thought it might be a little bit more harder for me, so I ended up just purchasing the 2-in-1, and the 2-in-1 was great for my first time trying it out. I don't think I still have it. Yeah, I don't have it anymore, but it worked very well. It was base layer brand, and I got it from Screen Print Direct. So I'm just trying out new things. I just started this screen printing journey, so I'm just trying to make sure that I dibble and dabble in everything and find out what works for me. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to take the Dazio and you're going to do whatever the instruction says for your Dazio. This Dazio requires 1/4 of distilled water. All I need is 1/4, but I don't care. I bought the whole damn thing. I'm gonna fill this with 1/4 of water, and I'm gonna shake it up, and then I'm gonna apply it to the emulsion, and that's gonna basically activate the emulsion. So you got your main basic components. You're definitely gonna need a screen, scoop coater, same size as the screen, emulsion, and if your emulsion is not 2-in-1, you're gonna need Dazio activator.
All right, now, so you want to take all of your items into a light, safe room or a dark room. It could be a dark bathroom, a dark bedroom. It don't matter. You just have to do this step in a light, safe area because the emulsion is reactive. All right, so now I got my screen down. I'm getting ready to actually coat it. You want to lean the scoop coater onto the screen and just lift up, kind of tilting towards the scoop coater. Give it a little wiggle, shake all the emulsion back in, and do a second pass. Flip it around. Go ahead and give it another pass. making sure you coat your screen with that nice thick layer as many times as you please. But too much of anything is always bad, so just 1 or 2 passes onto the screen.
Alright, this is what you'll get as a finished product. You should coat both sides with the emulsion with a nice layer on each side. You should let it dry sitting up this way like this, so that way the emulsion can just fill into the holes. Let it dry, put it under a fan. I usually let mine dry for about a day, and then I start to burn the screen. But you know, as long as you give it an adequate amount of time, maybe a little fan blowing on it, you'll probably be able to use it same day. But I really recommend to use your screen the next day. Let it completely dry so that emulsion can harden up.
Alright, so now it's really important for you to clean as you go. While your screens are drying, go ahead and scoop all of the emulsion back into the bucket. Make sure it's clamped and closed down really tight. No air or light can get through that. Wipe down your area while the emulsion is still soft, because it will harden up and last for a very long time right there. All right. So now you want to take all of that used equipment over to the sink. I made a mistake by leaving that emulsion inside of the scoop coater, and it literally rusted itself out within like 2 days. So it's very important to just go right ahead and clean everything as soon as you get done.
All right, so the next step in the process after you've coated your screens with emulsion, the next thing you want to do is burn your screens. That means putting the image onto the screen under 500-watt light, something strong, so it can transfer the image or text onto your actual screen. I'm going to show you guys how I do it. First thing you're going to need is your screen coated with emulsion, dried. Make sure it is dried. Then you're going to need a 500-watt light. I got this off of Amazon. It's like 20 bucks. It gets really bright. I'm going to show you guys. Super bright. And what you want to do is you want to place your screen at a distance. That way the light doesn't burn the screen. You actually have to have it at a certain distance. And once you start to do this step frequently, you'll know the height requirement that your light should be at just for you. This is a good distance for me, and I've been successful burning my screens this way. I will hope in the future to get a light box, but for right now, this is like the DIY version of, you know, burning your screens. A light box is just basically a big box that you actually put your screen inside of, and it you click a button and it does it for you. So one day. So the next thing you're gonna need is your transparencies. Now I went to Office Max and I got my transparencies printed. I like to keep them safe in a little pouch like this because I don't want them to collect that much dust. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna take your transparencies and you're gonna line it up to the screen exactly where you want them transferred onto your screen. So be careful during this step, because you want to be accurate. You don't want your image to be crooked. So get yourself some tape. Ooh. I just had a Charlie sub. I'm so freaking full right now. I got so many transparencies in here. Now that I look back, I can't believe how much I've printed so far. I got 2 of each because my transparencies aren't the laser jet, you know, transparencies that you should use for screen printing. These are just regular transparencies. You will know the difference. There's like a glossy tint to these versus a more milky tint to the ones that you're supposed to use for screen printing. But in this case, You know, I haven't came across a facility, Office Max or anything that can do those prints for me on that type of transparency. They always say it gets jammed up in their machine. So this is what I'm working with. This works in their machines, and I just get 2 of each. That way, the opacity of this black is very dark. I need it to be very dark for transfer. And there's 2 sides to this transparency. There's the printed side and there's the non-printed side. And you want the printed side, you can feel the difference. You want it face down on your screen.
I must have really needed that. No, for real. What y'all know about that lemon water though? But this is me taping off the edges of the transparency. That way it doesn't move when it's burning onto the screen. Be careful and use a ruler. All right, so now this is me actually burning the screen. This is what it looks like, guys. And I'm just checking in on it, making sure that everything is still lined up. When it's done after about 6 to 7 minutes, I'm going to take it over to the sink and rinse off the excess emulsion. Once it's completely dry, you're ready to add ink. Well, if you made it this far into the video, thanks for watching. You obviously care about screen printing, so why don't you go ahead and start?